It's Thursday, April 25th, and you're listening to the Geek at Geek News Central, the longest continuous running tech podcast. This is show number 854, sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com. Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Hey, our April GoDaddy special, get 35% off at GoDaddy using promo code GO35OFF2 or get.coms for $2.95. You can find information about all those codes at geeknewscentral.com. Geek295 is the code for the promo code for the 295.coms. You know what comes next. Drop in. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right, I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There is no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Aloha and welcome to Geek News Central, coming to you as live as it can be from the beautiful state of Hawaii via the Geek News Central studio overlooking Greater Honolulu. Hey, everyone, welcome to the show. I want to give a warm welcome to all of the Ohana, all the longtime listeners and family members here at Geek News Central. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the show. Thanks for staying subscribed. I tell you, really appreciate it. Got a great show lined up for you tonight. Lots to go through. I mean, more tech than probably what our hour and 15 minutes is going to allow for, but got a lot to share, so we'll get into that here in a few minutes. Hey, if you're brand new to the show, I want to welcome you to the show, and welcome to our Ohana. Of course, here in Hawaii, Ohana means family. We want to welcome you to the family, and you can start out by getting hooked up with the show real easy by really getting subscribed, and you can do that by going over to geeknewscentral.com. You're going to find in the second column of the website some links there to iTunes or an RSS feed for the podcast. Get subscribed to that. That makes sure that you won't miss a single episode. Our newsletter is really where it's happening as well. The newsletter link is in the top corner of the website. That'll get you subscribed so that you can get the show notes delivered directly to your inbox immediately following the show. I send out the show notes, all the links to all the articles I'm going to talk about. Of course, the link to the show as well. That way you'll never miss a single episode. You'll be reminded when the show is up. And we encourage you to get subscribed to the newsletter. You can watch the show, of course, on our Tech Podcast channel, on the Roku, Boxy, Samsung Smart TV, Google TV as well. You can contact me, of course, right here at the show at geeknewscentral.com, via Twitter at geeknews@gmail.com. And, of course, our hotline at 619-342-7365. Information on how to contact me is really right on the front of the website. Never miss that, and you'll be able to stay in contact with what we're doing here. And that's the most important thing, is staying linked up so that way you won't miss a single episode. Of course, this show is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, 140 fantastic family-safe shows over there. You definitely want to get over and check them all out. Get subscribed to a few of them, and they're going to be promoting the network on their shows as well. And hope that you'll give them a try. Okay, we're up on live stream tonight as our primary streaming server. I want to thank Livestream tonight for that. And ad-free as always. That's the best part. High quality HD for you to watch the show in. And of course, we're doing a cross stream as well on another serving provider. If you're catching us over there, hey, they've got commercials. At geeknewscentral.com, we don't. So this is the place to come. Hey, of course, I want to thank our sponsors here at the show. We want to thank GoDaddy.com for being a longtime sponsor here at Geek News Central, providing us ongoing sponsorship for the show and ongoing deals for you. So, again, we got that 35% off your total new order by using the promo code GO35OFF2. And we've got the Geek295 at geek295.295.coms for you to check out as well. And really the best part, and here's how you find all the great deals. You go right down on the website at geeknewscentral.com. You scroll down, there's a big banner there that says GoDaddy promo codes. Click on that. That'll take you into where all the promo codes are located. Got a code there for every occasion. Guarantee you're going to save some money one way or the other. Mix and match them. Do multiple orders, whatever it takes. Get your order in. Pick up your .com. Pick up your hosting account. And we've really got some exciting things coming from GoDaddy here in the next month. Look forward to that. But our April special continues again, the $295.com. Limit one, Geek $295. And, of course, that 35% off your total order by using the promo code GO35OFF2. And definitely go over to GoDaddy.com. Check it out. SSL certificates, GoDaddy web hosting, you name it, they've got it. And saves yourself a lot of cash. And we want to thank them for being a sponsor here at GNC, Geek News Central. Okay, let's talk just a little bit here what's coming up this weekend. We've got the new media show. We're going to have Michael Wolf, a contributor at Forbes, Forbes.com. He's going to be coming on and talking with us about his recent, basically, podcasting article about podcasting kind of coming out of the weeds or coming into its own. So I look forward to having Michael on. We're going to get started at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern. This would be a great show for those of you that are trying to stay abreast of what's going on in the podcasting space. So definitely check that out. It's been a busy week here at the Cochran household. We've been just running around like chickens with our heads cut off. My son flew out to the Big Island, and he's there on a class trip. What was interesting was they had arranged the kids to arrive in waves at the airport, and we were part of the first wave and had to have him there at 4 a.m., which required a 3 a.m. wake-up call. And you guys know me. I'm kind of a night owl type. I normally don't get to bed until about midnight. I'm normally a pretty early riser, but holy cow, 3 o'clock in the morning. Even me, my butt was dragging all day. But he gets back in here 7:45 p.m. tomorrow night, so we'll be at the airport to pick him up and hear about his escapades over in the Big Island. We're staying at KMC, which is a military camp, and up near the volcano. So we should have a good time. And Kilauea has been very, very active. And so I'm sure they got to see some cool stuff there on the Big Island. So anyway, other than that, it's just kind of been the standard routine here. My lovely wife has been staying busy as well. We've got a lot to do around here in the household, as I told you guys before. We're contemplating a move and either renting or selling this house, which is going to require a lot of work. But hey, it luckily it's not too much worse for the wear from when we moved in. So, but just need to do some updates to make it more marketable or even rentable. But that's going to ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. So it's kind of funny. You spend money to make money, but hopefully it pays off on the end. Anyway, that's kind of what's going on here. Nothing else fantastic except dealing with the traffic. And I continue to play Ingress a little bit here and there. Haven't had much time this week. I'm fast approaching level 7. For those of you that are playing Ingress, you know where that's at. I think I'm about 60K away from being able to break over. Then the big push to make level 8, which is an incredible feat, but it'll probably take me 2 months. But just don't want to mix and match too much. The wife will get too crazy upset. But those of you on Android, you want something fun to do with the family, I'm going to tell you, Ingress is the way to go. And if you're here in Hawaii, I have availability for you for invites. Don't have invites for the audience yet as a whole, largely because they're not really readily available. And we're getting our butts kicked here in Hawaii. So I want to make sure that if we have new players come on, they come over on my side and help us retake the island here. It's been a bit of a challenge from a gameplay standpoint, but 'tis what it is. All right. One last mention here. We want to take care of our sponsor over at Citrix GoToMeeting, and those of you that watched the last video of the show, you'll know that I had a small mix-up, but we resolved that here. And I think the one thing that you guys will know is that, I'm a big believer in Citrix GoToMeeting. I've been using it in fact, longer than they were a sponsor here. I think that's the important thing. It's something that my entire team uses. And when we get together as a team in the same location, we really have the ability to get a lot accomplished. And, project that takes weeks and decisions that would take 25 emails, you really get decided right on the spot. And for us, gathering everyone together in the same spot is literally impossible, just because the team is spread out across the country. And when we do get together, it's expensive. We have to fly everyone in, get hotel rooms, so it's a challenge. So that's why my team at Raw Voice and what I use here is GoToMeeting with HD Faces, and really makes it easy for my team to be together online, really from normal business hours, wherever you need to, no matter how far people are away. And with GoToMeeting, of course, you share the same screen, so you all stay on the same page. And the built-in HD video conferencing makes your online meetings just like being in the same room. And sometimes I kind of forget that the camera's on and the guys can jump in anytime and they'll be like, hey, I see you eating lunch or whatever, because we keep the GoToMeeting session running during normal business hours so that people can bounce in and out. And even though you can launch a meeting in seconds from anywhere, really using your computer, your smartphone, a tablet, and you can even present with your iPad, this is one of the reasons that we love GoToMeeting. And this is how our team uses it, and it's fantastic. So I want you to try GoToMeeting free for 30 days. And all you have to do, and you don't have to wait for this special offer, you have to go over to GoToMeeting.com, click on the Try It Free button, and don't forget to use the promo code podcast. Remember to use that promo code podcast. That way we get credit, and you guys show your appreciation for me turning you guys on to a great product. We give you that 30-day free trial. We want to thank Citrix GoToMeeting for being a sponsor here. Definitely check them out. We want you to enjoy the product as much as we do. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get right into the stack. I got a huge stack of stuff tonight. I was kind of running a little bit late, such seems to be kind of normal here in recent weeks, and getting online and get started from the show on a kickoff time. But let me move a couple of windows out of the way and clean the old desktop up here so that we're ready to do this. And let me let me show you guys something. Let me, those of you that are listening, let me bring up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the audience that's watching. And if those of you that are watching and you want to, actually those of you that are listening, you've come to this point in the show, and let me show you this map. This is the Intel map on Ingress, and it shows the state of Hawaii on how things stand. Now, the green is the enlightened, and the blue is the, let me sure I take this off all chat. The blue is the resistance, and I'm a proud member of the resistance. And it just goes to show you that we're starting to finally make some ground. But over here is this is the area that I live in. And last night, my daughter and I went out. We had this all blue, but we traded sides today. Another group came in and took the portals back over. But we're getting to a point where we're going to be in a better position to defend all this. And that's what it's really all about. So you can see how it's happening here in Hawaii. And sometimes there's these big green fogs. And what I'm showing you is I'm showing you a map of Oahu, those of you that are listening. And what there is there's blue and green portals spread. And basically they're historic spots. Like, I'm going to zoom in here. And those of you that were part of the show when I used to broadcast on historic Fort Island, there's a couple portals over at the USS Utah. There's a portal at the Pacific Air Museum, a couple over at the Arizona, and one at the Memorial at the at the USS Missouri and at the Arizona Memorial, and so these are hotly contested portals that are basically digitally battled over, and you actually have to go to the location. You can't sit on your computer and do this. It's something where you have to get out and go to the location and have fun. And we're going to be launching the Ingress podcast soon, and we'll be talking more about this and doing testimonials and video stuff of people out on missions and stuff. So it's just a great way to get out. And for me, I'm just, you guys know that I told you that I don't normally game. And part of the reason of me liking this game is it gets me out. I'm doing a lot of walking. It's good for losing weight and getting some exercise. That's more than anything the reason why I like the game. And I've been working on getting healthier, and this is part of it. Plus, it's something my kids and I can do. So, be honest with you, I'm paying for a pay-as-you-go phone just to play this game. So that tells you how much I like playing it. And because, I'm an iOS user, right? I got an iPhone. So this got a Virgin Mobile phone, and I actually got that Nexus 7 as well to use with the MiFi. So, yeah, I spent a little money to just, play a game. I guess it's one of those things that happens here. And I'm trying not to overindulge, so trying to balance it. But it's a lot of fun. Just at some point, maybe my wife will jump in and play as well. She's went with us on I guess what we call a couple of missions, and where it was team missions. It's better to play as a group when you're all out with your team members. It's a lot of fun. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with the top topic today. Not top topic, one of the topics, but a Senate committee today has voted to end warrantless email searches. Now, the Lee bill was approved by the Senate Judiciary Committee on Thursday. And what this is going to do is, if this continues to move through, the legislation under consideration of Senate is basically going to would require a warrant for all private electronic content. So it's emails, it's text, Google Docs, it's photos on Picasa, it's private social networking posts, and so on. Right now, under the so-called third-party doctrine, anything that's not a communication like a Google Doc is accessible with a subpoena. And these reforms are needed not only to protect our American rights and privacy, but also promote the growth of companies offering cloud-based services. So, both Representative Mike Lee, out of a Republican out of Utah, and Patrick Leahy, Democrat out of Vermont, basically is supporting now. Surprisingly here, and maybe not, the ACLU is supporting this bill. And we'll see if this gets any traction or not. It may have some issues as it goes through, but I'd like to see this thing pass. It'd be nice because it puts our rights back in order from a search warrant standpoint. If they need to get in and see something, they go to the judge, present their evidence, and get a search warrant instead of just doing a subpoena and getting in that way. So anyway, this is an interesting move, and we'll see what happens. I don't know if we covered this on the last show or not, but the FBI was recently denied permission to spy on a hacker through his webcam. Basically, a federal magistrate denied a request from the FBI to install sophisticated surveillance software to track someone suspected of attempting to conduct a sizable wire transfer from a local bank account in Texas to a foreign bank account. So they wanted to have a month-long, what they call Rule 41 search and seizure warrant of a suspect's computer at a premises unknown as a way to find out more about the possible violations of a federal bank fraud, identity theft, and computer security laws. And basically, the judge slapped the FBI down and said that the warrant request was overbroad and too invasive. In it, he gives unique insights as to the government's capability for sophisticated digital surveillance on potential targets. According to the judge's description of the spyware, it sounds very similar to, we've covered this before, what's called RAT, the software that it's basically similar to that software. And but the FBI wanted to install data extraction software. Once installed, the software has the capacity, according to this request, to search the computer's hard drive, random access memory, and other storage media, to activate the computer's built-in camera, to generate latitude and longitude coordinates for the computer's location, and transmit the extracted data to FBI agents within the district. So that's an interesting move here where the judge says, nope, not going to happen. And this is the first time we've seen a public denial. The government has been very secretive about surveillance of this type, and there hasn't been much litigation that's really out there in the space. So this is kind of an interesting move, and it just shows a little bit behind the scenes. You guys remember I told you before that I've got a night jasmine tree or plant bush right outside my studio window. Well, we had cut that bad boy back way, way, way back last year because it was kind of getting unruly and out of hand. And today, actually, when my son and I were doing the yard this past weekend, I told my wife, that thing is just about ready to bloom. I'm not going to trim it. It really was in need of a little trim. I said, I'm going to let it bloom, and after the initial leaves fall off, we'll cut it back a little bit, but not as bad as we did before. Tonight, I am sitting here and having these whiffs of this most succulent night jasmine that's coming in the windows, kind of hit me, and I go, it smells so good. You have no idea, unless you've smelled night jasmine, and how it's just there. It's undescribable. It's one of my favorite things of living here in Hawaii, because we have a wide variety of plant life in our yard. A lime tree right behind the studio. I've got a calamansi tree, for those of you that know what that is, in the front yard. And then all the flowers and different stuff. It just really makes it pretty wonderful to be able to really kind of to just get these nice aromatic hits of flowers and stuff. It's really, really cool. So anyway, because it just hit me now, and I had to tell you guys. And of course, I'm sitting here and it's 70 degrees, and I'm wearing shorts and a very nice thin golfing shirt. So I don't golf, but I love golfing shirts. So anyway, that's what I'm smelling here. Weird, I know, but it just I want to go I just want to go outside and stick my head in this plant. Oh, all right. Department of Justice has helped AT&T and others avoid a wiretap act, and it has promised not to charge them if they promise to help spy on people. So apparently, senior Obama administration officials have secretly authorized the interception of communications and carried on portions of networks operated by AT&T and other internet service providers, a practice that might otherwise be illegal under federal wiretapping laws. The secret legal authorization from the Justice Department originally applied to a cybersecurity pilot project in which apparently the DoD monitored defense contractors' internet links. Since then, the program is expanded by the president to cover all critical infrastructure sectors, including energy, healthcare, and finance. That started June 10th. So this is pretty broad. It's pretty broad on what they're allowing. And I guess CEOs of various ISPs were worried about the program, but still went forward with it in secret, of course, until now. So this is an interesting move here, and it's kind of puzzling to me that the administration would essentially allow something that is illegal to take place. They're basically wiretapping communications. Now, they don't detail where and how and when, but they're detailing, they're basically saying that they've allowed this to happen. And this is an article over on techdirt.com. And, boy, oh boy, just superciliously, I'm not even going to try it again. By simply, stepping over the law, is there anything left? Really? is just we're just going to have to say that we live in a police state, and the government's going to be allowed to intercept communications as they please. It's troubling. It really is. Now, if you work in a job where you've already signed something that says I allow you to do that when I'm at work, that's one thing. But in communications from your home outwards that could be intercepted, it has to make you concerned, doesn't it? Well, we'll see. We'll see where this goes. Maybe this Senate act trying to stop this type of stuff will take effect. Hey, I want to talk just a little bit about the folks at Provo, Utah. They apparently don't know where their fiber is, and Google bought it for $1, or bought the operation for $1. So Google's asking the city to find the some of the fiber that they didn't map, and the city's going to have to spend another $500,000 to a civil engineering firm to determine exactly where the fiber optic cables are buried. So this is crazy. It's funny on how this has all happened. But anyway, Provo's why they didn't map their fiber to begin with is beyond me. Now, something that should make all of us a little bit leery, but also at the same time make us say, But a federal judge has refused to compel a Wisconsin suspect to decrypt the contents of several hard drives because doing so would violate the man's Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Now, the judge, fired on this past Friday, ultimately labeled the issue a close call. Now, courts have wrestled on how to apply the Fifth Amendment to encrypted hard drives for several years. Past rulings forced a defendant to decrypt a hard drive isn't necessarily self-incriminating, but forcing a defendant to decrypt a hard drive can amount to self-incrimination if the government can't otherwise show that the defendant has a password for the drive. In that case, forced decryption amounts to a forced confession that the defendant owns the drive. So, here we've got a situation where this guy is suspected to have child pornography on his hard drive. So, in most cases, here we are. We've got an individual that has got something on those drives. They want to see what it is. He's saying, no, you're not. They've obviously got suspicion of him to have drawn charges and pulled him in front of a judge. But, the circumstances in the Wisconsin case are different. The officers did find logs on the suspect's PC suggesting that incriminating files had been saved to an encrypted drive. The suspect had multiple encrypted hard drives in his apartment, and the government had no way of proving which specific hard drive, if any, contained the incriminating files in question. In theory, a guest might have used the man's computer to download the files and stored them on a hard drive he didn't own, or the hard drives containing the files might be among the ones the police seized. So, so this is kind of an interesting move here. Now, will the judge tell them to take those hard drives and try to unlock them? So, but it is interesting here that this judge has ruled that this is going to be a violation of this guy's Fifth Amendment rights against self-compelled incrimination. So, when you are arrested and when you are charged with something and you are read your Miranda rights, you have the right to remain silent. You don't have to say anything that could incriminate you. The burden of proof is on the police to prove that you have done something illegal and to, either take you to trial and get a conviction or basically drop the charges and let you go. So, again, even though this individual may have had content on those hard drives that would be, for a better word, disgusting, and it is interesting here that he is basically not forced this guy to unencrypt them. So, as much as you may not like it, at the same point, I think we all have to respect the Fifth Amendment stuff. So we'll see. We'll have to have, if the police want to take this guy to trial, or the prosecutor wants to take this guy to trial, they're going to have to do it a different way, without the material in question. Whether or not they can do it with log files, I don't know. Maybe. So we'll see what happens with this. Supreme Court of Iceland, yes, Iceland, has ruled a firm must process donation for WikiLeaks. I've never been to the WikiLeaks website. I'll never go to the WikiLeaks website. But on Wednesday, this Icelandic Supreme Court upheld a lower court ruling finding that Valitor, formerly Visa Iceland, had illegally terminated a contract with DataCell, WikiLeaks' Icelandic web host, thereby stopping processing donations to the embattled site. So now Valitor will now be forced to pay 800,000 Icelandic kroners, or $6,824 per day, if the gateway to WikiLeaks donation is not reopened within 15 days. Again, here we go. A court has basically said you can't stop doing business with these folks, even though maybe you don't like what they have on their website. Personally, I've never been to the website. I will not go. But at the same point, this is a win for the folks at WikiLeaks as much as it may upset many of us. So it's interesting seeing how there's wins in some situations and there's losses in others when it comes to privacy, fair use, and so forth. Now, I know you guys are probably getting sick and tired of hearing about Prenda, but Prenda has basically done some new stuff here that has some people's eyebrows being raised. They apparently are going after some folks or an individual in Minnesota, and they had a very interesting ruling made in a case where both parties agreed to some examination of data, which was really this broad, the judge gave them a broad order of being able to do discovery. And as people have looked at this, it appears, and again, this is the opinion of the folks at Ars Technica, and also what is being said by some other folks, is that the lawyers in this case, and again, this is what's being written. This is not, I have no opinion on this, but there might be some collusion going on. This is what it says on the website. How did Prenda manage to get a judge to sign off on such an incredibly broad discovery? Two anti-troll activists, defense lawyer Morgan Peets and the anonymous author of the blog Fight Copyright Trolls, have an interesting theory. They're questioning whether Adam Urbans, the lawyer defending Christopher Hubbard, is actually working with Prenda. They say, no, we would caution you not to contact attorney Adam Urbans, writes Peets in his blog, about the case due to potential collusion with the plaintiff. It may be that Mr. Urbans and his client Christopher Hubbard could be adverse to you. In at least one case, Urbans told a client to quickly settle for $2,000 and not bother fighting. Between the insistence that Steele will get you earlier or later and the alleged collusion, copyright troll defendants should not trust this lawyer, writes the author of Fight Copyright Trolls. So they're even questioning whether or not the guy being sued is, actually they just maybe use this as an angle to get more data. And if that's the case, holy smokes, this thing's going to get crazy. Using the courts, doing collusion to get data, to get orders, judges to sign orders for stuff, for discovery. If that could be proven true, man, someone's going to go to jail for a long, long time. All right, Apple WWDC 2013 tickets were sold out in 2 minutes. Is that crazy? Apple's 2013 Worldwide Developer Conference appears to sold out in 2 minutes. That's just nuts. 2 minutes and 42 seconds, according to people that are watching it. All 5,000 tickets to WWDC has been sold out since 2008. And cool, 8 million to Apple in just 2 minutes and 40-some seconds. That's just really, really crazy. But that's how people want to go to that conference. Hey, you live in Austin. Time Warner Cable in Austin sees new Google Fiber and raised your offers to free Wi-Fi. So Time Warner's announcement late Wednesday night that the company would be expanding its free for subscribers Wi-Fi network across the Texas capital and other cities nationwide in response to Google's Fiber Texas arrival in 2014. A non-Time Warner Cable can pay $2.95 per hour to access. One of the folks that said that lives in Austin says while paying $70 for 30 megs internet service from Time Warner Cable and now getting free Wi-Fi around town is nice. If Google offers me a deal where I can get a gigabit connection for anywhere near the Kansas City price tag of $70, free Wi-Fi isn't going to stop me. It won't even make me pause. So Time Warner's a little bit worried about Google Fiber coming into the. Hey, Time Warner's easy solution. Up the speed. Get your act together. Hey, Washington State has slammed T-Mobile for its deceptive no contract ad. So basically, when you go into T-Mobile now, you can come in with your own phone, or you can get one of theirs, and then you can have a 2-year payment plan to pay it off. Well, that's technically a contract. So State Attorney General Office and T-Mobile customers who entered contracts between March 26th and April 25th may now obtain a full refund for equipment and cancel plans without being required to pay the remaining balance on the hardware. So T-Mobile is also going to be required to state in advertisements the true cost of handset purchase, including the requirement that the customer maintain a 2-year agreement while paying off a financing plan. In addition, T-Mobile will pay $26,000 to the State Attorney General's office in reimbursement of legal fees. So a little bit of an issue with T-Mobile's language. All right, this next thing, these are some guys here out of Honolulu. I met them at the Geek Meet, and they're coming up with something called the Snap Zoom. And I actually invested in this today on Kickstarter. You can just go over to Kickstarter.com and basically do a Snap Zoom. And what this is, it's a mount for any camera, an iPhone, an Android, whatever it may be. And you can attach it to any type of a binocular, any type of long-distance lens. It's really pretty slick. And this is a really cool, basically Kickstarter. And you can use it with a binocular, a telescope, microscope, and basically it just helps you focus your camera lens. And basically, then you can use the lens from a pair of binoculars and so forth to get a very good picture through essentially a telephoto lens. It's a pretty slick. Again, Snap Zoom. I think the Kickstarter is about $70 right now. Few of those left, and then it jumps to 80. All right, Google Drive now lets you collaborate and add friends, start chats with fewer clicks. So you can, if you're working on a document and you want to add people very quickly, you can do that now with the change in Google Drive. I use Google Drive a lot. We do that for a lot of sending, like a press release, and having our PR gal work on the copy. I can go in and make edits while she's in there. It's real slick. So we use Google Docs a lot. If you have a Chromebook, the new Chrome Beta extension from Google lets you view Office files directly in the browser. So this is very cool. So again, one of the unique features of Google's web browser for Chromebooks has been the ability to open and view Microsoft Office. So, but that's been confined to those devices. So Google's changed this today. Oh, excuse me. And they're releasing a new extension for Chrome, actually Chrome itself. So you don't have to have a Chromebook, that allows the same functionality in the browser for Windows and Mac. So don't know when it's going to go into a stable release, but pretty slick on Chrome. All right, Amazon has basically first quarter profits fell to $82 million as sales jumped 22%. Pretty slick here. They had some pretty huge revenue. Product sales accounted for the vast majority of the income. They had net sales were up 22% to $16.1 billion. And mostly, of course, the business was in the United States. We're actually going to talk about their EC2 stuff here in a few minutes, about where their numbers were on that. But it's kind of interesting. $16.1 billion in total revenue, but only $82 million in sales, or $80 million in profit. So kind of a narrow profit margin. They're profitable, but it's very, very, very tight. Much tighter than I think they would want it to be. All right. When the Marines, the Navy bands are out and doing concerts and stuff, that falls underneath basically the music should be available free from copyright. But the U.S. Marine Corps has provided music in response to a Freedom of Information Act, but warns that publishing it may infringe on copyright. So what was going on was that when the U.S. Marine Corps band was played for the presidential inauguration, someone has requested the tracks and was able to get those, the songs and the music that was recorded, and but two of the songs covered by the or that were basically played by the band are still covered by copyright on the composition, and they warn them that just because the Marine band played them doesn't necessarily mean that they're free from copyright. Now, so there's some argument going on here whether or not that's true or not, but some people are thinking that these, because they were applied as a public performance by the Marine Corps band, that they should be able to republish those. They're holding up, waiting to get some more ruling on this. But I never thought that people were actually collecting this type of music and making it available on the internet. I guess it makes sense, but definitely was something that has popped up. Let's see here. Let me check something here real quick before we move forward. And am I going to be able to get to this? No, I'm not. All right, so we'll go back. Maybe I will. Let me go and look here real quick. I had a text come in, and let me see if I can see what this was. Was this? No, okay, nothing important. Sorry. Okay, so moving on here. CBS is saying that they're going to sue Arrow in Boston, preferably in here in the very near future. So with them launching May 15th in Boston, one of the executives at CBS says, we will sue, and stealing our signal will be found to be illegal in Boston just as it will be everywhere else. So these people are pretty upset. Dana McClintock, CBS exec VP of communication, did not mince any words. Oh, I guess it's a guy named Dana. Sorry. But, we know that the broadcasters are not faring real well against Arrow, with the courts all apparently recognizing companies carefully followed the letter of the law established in the Cablevision ruling. So we'll see where this goes. But they're going to try in another court, and I'm sure they're going to try in every jurisdiction that they bring this service to. And the good news here, appeals court has overturned the Richard Prince ruling. We talked about this last year about fair use and appropriation art. And the famous appropriation artist named Richard Prince was sued by photographer Patrick Carroll, whose photos Prince had used in various collage paintings. And, of course, in a very troubled ruling last year, the judge in that case rejected Prince's fair use defense in a summary judgment. That judgment has been overturned by a higher court and has been sent back to the lower court to redefine. The higher court said, hey, you didn't read the law correctly. You ruled incorrectly, so they threw this back. So maybe there'll be another fair use win here when this court reviews it. Those of you north of the border up in Canada, after muzzling librarians and scientists, Canada now start making it difficult for citizens to express their views. We've talked about the requirement for librarians employed by the Canadian government to self-censor their opinions, even in private. This came in the wake of similar restrictions placed on government scientists. And we know that this kind of muzzling has really caused and created a bad precedent up in Canada, but it seems now to be extended to the public. New undemocratic rules are creating a barrier to public participation in an upcoming National Energy Board hearing into the proposal of Enbridge Line Number 9 oil pipeline. For the first time, members of the public who want to send a letter with comments to the NEB about a pipeline project must first apply for permission to participate by filling out a 10-page form that includes a request for a resume and references. So now, if you want to participate in public participation of a National Energy Board hearing, a government agency, you have to apply to do so. The National Energy Board reports to the Canadian Ministry of Natural Resources and is described as an independent federal agency established in 1959 by the Parliament of Canada to regulate international interprovincial aspects of the oil, gas, and electric utility industries. So, and it works in the purpose of NEB is to regulate pipelines, energy development, and trade in the Canadian public interest. So here you got a public funded group, and they're making Canadians apply. You guys up in Canada need to get on the phone. You need to get on the phone and call your reps and say, "Hey, what's up? What's up with this?" Hey, Microsoft is promoting Office 365 with a Wi-Fi hotspot in print magazines. Specifically, Microsoft is helping promote Office 365 in Australia, and they've gave away a 1-year subscription to cloud-based software via Hunt for NFC tags, and they've taken this to the next step. In the next edition of the Forbes magazine, basically, when you open this up, there's going to be a Wi-Fi router that's inside. When activated, it's going to offer 15 days of free Wi-Fi service via a T-Mobile network on up to 5 devices at once. So, kind of a cool way to experience Office 365. I guess they're going to probably push you to the website, but can't imagine how much this cost. This was built into the magazine, and but I was thinking of this thing. Is this thing going to run for 15 days on that battery? But apparently it will. So anyway, if you get a hold of one of these Forbes magazines, I'd love to see this thing. I really would. What would you think if you still were doing your business inventory with a IBM 402 in conjunction with a Model 129 key punch? Yes, there's a company still that's it's called Sparkle Filters up in Conroe, wherever that may be, Conroe. But anyway, they're using a 40-year-old computer to do the data processing. Pretty amazing here. There actually is only one guy in the nation that can still fix these key card machines, but they're starting slowly to convert to PCs. Oh, there's a guy that got a lot of money out of his investment, and they actually show. Let me bring this up. And museums have asked him to donate the machine, and up to this point, he has not. Let's see if I can blow this picture up. No, I can't. It just shows the machine in the key punch, but they're still doing inventory and stuff of this thing. Oh man, that's somebody that's hardcore. I wonder how much productivity is lost. Ever wonder about hard drive recovery from SSDs? If you have an SSD that gets damaged, if the data can be recovered, well, there's a good video up on Slashdot. Have that link up in the show notes for you to check out on what happens with hard drive repair for an SSD. Got an email here. Oh, from Dale says, "Hey, watching show from the road. Next rest stop on freeway. Still in car on pocket netbook." That is way cool. That is a hardcore fan. Watching show from the road, rest stop on freeway, still in car on pocket notebook. Thanks for tuning in. What are you doing on the road so late, Dale? What are you doing out this? It's in the middle of the morning where you at. Where are you headed? All right, scientists have may have detected neutrinos from another galaxy. Experiment called Ice Cube, consisting of sensitive light detectors buried deep in Antarctic ice, has detected 2 ultra-high energy neutrinos, each with over a petaelectron volt of energy. That's a quadrillion times the energy of a visible light photon, the highest energy neutrinos ever seen. The 2 events, nicknamed Ben and Ernie, have a 99% chance of originating outside our galaxy, likely created by a supermassive black hole or an exploding gamma ray burst. So very cool. It just never knows what's hurtling through our bodies at all time. Theory of Einstein proved right again. Scientists subjected Albert Einstein's famous theory of gravity to its toughest real-world test so far, and has prevailed. And what's incredible here is he's made some pretty extreme predictions and basically came up with some amazing um, basically rules. And basically everything has been dead on so far. They haven't been able to prove this gravity theory at all. And so theory of Einstein's proved right. And this is a great write-up and talking about how they were looking at a pulsar that 7,000 light years from Earth to validate Albert Einstein's relativity theory. So anyway, link will be up in the show notes. The ins and outs of internet sales tax. Well, if you're a company that does over $1 million worth a year of business, you may have to pay sales tax to every state in the country, but it's being held up right now. Senators have stalled votes on the internet sales tax for now. Supporters of the legislation still hope for a vote in the Senate on Friday or Saturday, but a handful of lawmakers have stalled the U.S. Senate from voting on the legislation, and so it's kind of an interesting move here. Senators Democrat Ron Wyden of Oregon, Max Baucus of Montana have held up the legislation week by objecting to any amendments offered on the Senate floor. The objections have brought the Senate to a standstill, and with supporters of the bill unwilling to move on to their other legislation, and opponents unwilling to allow amendments. So anyway, we'll see where this goes. But I think this will end up being pushed through, but they're trying to stall it as long as possible. Dale says, en route to mom's home to help with upkeep. Work all day, drive evening to mom's around. Out from the end of trip. Wow. So that's, you worked all day and then drive evening to your mom's place. Well, good for you going out to see your mom and helping her out and driving all night, it sounds like, to get there. Hey, you want to have coffee with Apple's CEO? Well, the bidding's hit $210,000. It's now cheaper to buy a high-end supercar than to try to snag a meeting with Apple CEO Tim Cook as part of a charity auction. That's crazy. $210,000. You only get a half hour with the CEO. A half hour. 210 grand. The current bidder at 210,000 listed as the phone 911. The bidding on the meeting with Cook is open until May 14th, and that's incredible. So let's quickly do the math here. $210,000 is where the bid is. Let's divide that by 30. That's $7,000 a minute. Let's divide that by 60 seconds. So you're paying $116 a second to talk with Tim Cook. Someone is absolutely incredibly insane. $116 a second to talk to Tim Cook at the current bid level of $210,000. The next closest bid in another, basically this auction, is with SpaceX. It's currently $7,500. There's a personal tour of Jay Leno's car collection that's going for $7,250. I don't know if that means I guess Jay Leno is going to be giving the tour, but $210,000 to meet with Tim Cook. Steve Jobs? Yeah. Tim Cook? Well, can't meet with Steve Jobs anymore. All right. You heard about this AP thing going on, right? On April 23rd, a tweet sent from the official Associated Press Twitter account reporting an explosion at the White House had injured the president, caused the Dow to drop 140 points and wipe $136 billion from the S&P 500. Of course, the stock came back, but definitely it cost people some money one way or the other. But that was crazy. Totally crazy. And Twitter's got themselves a real issue. All right, moving on here. Have you heard about journalism? Journalism Tracker catches journalists copying press releases. And believe me, they do it every day of the week. We sent out a press release earlier this week about the relaunch of Blueberry.com, and most of the sites just copied everything. We appreciate it. We appreciate it very much, but come on, write a few lines on your own. But there's a database, there's a website that allows you to do this. You can go to journalism.sunlightfoundation.com. I have a link up in the show notes for you to check it out. People that are basically just copying everything. Hey, on May 1st, the senior editor Paul Miller, a writer with The Verge, left the internet. And The Verge says it was weird. Now he's coming back, and it's going to get even weirder. At 12 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, May 1st, Paul will return to the web. And it's our responsibility to make sure he sees the year's best stories, tweets, gifs, vines, and more. And we'll be live streaming the entire event, a special edition of the Vergecast starting at 11 p.m. Eastern on April 30th. Wow, starting on April 30th, 11 p.m. Eastern on April 30th. Wow, okay. That should be huge. So they're going to share with everything the big stories of the year. Why anyone would disconnect from a year from the internet, anyways, weird. I agree. All right, if you live someplace near one of these fantastic Doppler radar systems, the nation's Doppler weather radar units, 122 in all, have been upgraded out of a total of 160, and the rest should be upgraded soon, outfitting them with a new dual polarization technology, nicknamed Dupole, and by weather scientists. Basically, the U.S. meteorologists now can tell exactly what's from the sky thanks to this radar upgrade, and that includes houses, cows, horses, barns, vehicles, tornado debris, rock stones. So this thing is supposed to tell you everything. And what it does is for those of you that don't understand radar technology, they basically change the pulse from vertical to horizontal, back and forth, and it builds a better picture. And each alternating pulse is the opposite polarity, and it really gives a good definition to what they're seeing, gives them more detail. And they won't be able to see a house, but they are going to be able to see a lot more detail in the Doppler radar. Researchers are suggesting that brands and celebrities may be buying Twitter followers, and a lot of people that are being accused of doing so. Pepsi is being accused of potentially buying some followers. Sean P. Diddy Combs as well. 50 Cent, Pepsi, Mercedes-Benz, Prime Minister Russia all show questionable activity. So seems like buying Twitter users is quite the rage. In really science/health news, scientists in China trace new bird flu strain H7N9 back to market chicken. So let's keep an eye on this one, folks. CDC doesn't have a vaccine for this, so just keep an eye. This thing could get wild. Apparently, the CISPA is dead in the Senate. Privacy concerns are cited. So this is good news. The Senate will almost certainly kill the controversial cybersecurity bill recently passed by the House, according to the U.S. Senate committee member. The comments were first reported on the comments were first reported by U.S. News on Thursday. Senator Jay Rockefeller, Democrat, West Virginia, the chairman of the U.S. Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation, said in a statement on April 18th that CISPA's privacy protections are insufficient. And a committee aide told ZDNet on Thursday that Rockefeller believes the Senate will not take up CISPA. We know that the White House has also said the president won't sign the House bill. So here we have government in action. Over on TechCrunch, the New York Times releases its headline-reading Google Glass app. Got an email from the Glass folks. They said, "Don't worry, Todd. We haven't sent all the order and requests for orders out yet. We're taking care of the folks that were at an event first, and then you guys will get your order information. So we're still on track to get Google Glass here at Geek News Central." I'll talk a little bit about Amazon Web Services. And for the first fiscal quarter ending March 31st, Amazon netted a healthy $750 million in the other category of North America sales, up 64% from $458 million a year ago. And Amazon's not broke it down, but they say the bulk of that $750 million comes from the AWS platform. So it's a pretty big number. But it's down from 769 compared to Q4. that, they've reduced prices on stuff, made it more, price effective. So we'll see. Blip, if you've got an account on Blip, you may not have it for much longer. Blip has taken 90,000 accounts down to 4,000 shows. I logged onto my Blip account. My show's still there. I don't know. I guess they still like my stuff. The tech podcast stuff is still there. So appears that Blip has been doing some purging, and they say they're getting ready to take on cable. So we'll see what happens with that. You need more power on the go? Well, this, my friends, is really going to be pretty outstanding. It's a 60,000, yes, 60,000 mAh lithium polymer base backup system. We'll keep it a laptop running for up to 14 hours. It's designed to travel with you and provide backup in case of a power outage or disruption. You can crank it all the way up to 240 volts, down to 80. It's going to cost you approximately $460. But this is pretty slicky little unit. I don't know how much does it weigh. It weighs 5.5 pounds, so not bad from a weight perspective. Cost is a little high, but considering what it can do, pretty slick. I like these units, and we're seeing a lot more of this type of stuff. Saw a bunch of it at CES. Robots are really becoming law enforcement's best friend, and they've got what's called the SWAT bot now, and you just have to watch the video over at Gizmodo. This thing basically is capable of towing a car. It's basically a tank on wheels, pretty sophisticated. This thing is pretty impressive. Got Kevlar on it and everything. It's basically designed to allow a SWAT team to ride in on. So I'll have a link up in the show notes. Not completely remote control, but definitely designed to bust doors down and that kind of stuff. But hey, it only sets the police departments that buy it back about $65,000. And anyway, if you see one of these coming at your house, you know that you're about ready to have police presence in your domicile. All right, there's folks over have said that there's mathematical proof that growing old means getting boring. And it talks about how people engage as they age. Politics, as you get older, you engage more. School and university, it basically drops off. Social special occasions increase as you get older. Sports drops off. Television drops off. Transport drops off. Travel drops off. Video games decline. But you talk about weather more. So it's funny on what they were able to look at from what happens when people get older. Books stay about the same. Career and money levels out. Social media takes a dip after you turn 20. Yes, only 20. It lowers out. Fitness declines. Food and drink increases. Health goes down. It's pretty niche. Relationships decline. So it just goes to show how people react and how they're different as you age. I think that's going to change over time. We've got a pretty active population. Facebook's allowing people to stay connected and everything. But anyway, very, very cool. Couple of last things here for the show tonight. A guy was trying to come up with a system to photograph bugs. Yes, flying bugs, flies, centipedes, whatever they were, or not even necessarily centipedes, but centipedes don't fly. But he came up with a camera system that he built on his own, and the parts he used, the company was so impressed that they made a commercial rig for it. But if you like taking pictures of insects, this is the system. Costs you about $3,000 to buy it. But anyway, I have a link up in the show notes. It's kind of one of those weirdo specialty type of things. I can't imagine having a hobby of taking picture of bugs, but some people, that floats your boat. All right, Instapaper was just bought by the same folks that bought Dig. BetaWorks, a company that rescued Dig from the toilet, has just bought a majority stake in Instapaper from its founder, Marco Arment. So we'll see what happens with this. And and we'll see where this goes. I don't know if you've used Instapaper or not, but it's been around for a while. A couple articles are on Geek News Central. Tom Wiles, Trucker Tom, did a great article talking about finally mobile streaming becomes truly practical. And he's basically talking about listening to podcasts and different content while he's on the road. Of course, Tom is a professional truck driver. He's basically all over the country all the time, and he's got to sample the internet in every nook and cranny of this country. And he's now not having to worry about downloading stuff anymore. He just goes ahead and hits play and can listen to content. Talks about using Stitcher and other applications. So I have this up for you to check out. Also, Amazon may be building a set-top box, and there's rumors circulating. It's nothing new, but this could move forth. I don't know on what type of platform it's going to be on. I hope it's not the Kindle platform because I'm not overly impressed with that. But we'll see where this goes with Amazon and their set-top box. Those of you that like Swipe, Swipe's come out of beta today. And, of course, if you're not familiar, it's an alternative keyboard for Android. And many of you have Android with Swipe on it. I don't particularly care for the Android typing with Swipe at all. I mean, typing just on the Android at all. I think it sucks. But Swipe is available in the Google Play Store at 99 cents for a limited time. There's also a 30-day free trial version available for you to check out. SWYPE. And that's where you can find it. Now, I've had really, ever since Chevy took the bailout, I've really been pretty much negative against owning a Chevy product. But the Chevy Spark has been rated the most efficient retail car with an 82-mile range or 119 miles per gallon E. And we know that all electric vehicles have their own particular merit. Some climb, some race, some only have 3 wheels, and some are even more prone to melting. The Chevrolet Spark EV may not have any of those credentials, but now it's found the right feather to fit its cap. It's the most efficient retail car by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and apparently it's going to save you $9,000 in fuel over 5 years, probably about $12,000 if you live in Hawaii. But 119 miles. So is it a full hybrid? Is it a full electric vehicle? Apparently it is. It'll go 82 miles on a smaller 20 kilowatt battery. But once the regulations have done filling with the digits, it scores 118 miles per gallon. So it'll go 82 miles on a single charge. That's probably for Hawaii, probably pretty close to what one would need. The Honda Fit will go 82 miles. Let me read this here. Spark has a combined city highway range of 82 miles on a full charge of its 21 kilowatt battery and is given the vehicle rating 119 mile per gallon E. A gasoline equivalent factor, as Autobahn notes, Honda Fit EV will also go 82 miles on a smaller 20 kilowatt battery. So it's got, but when they do the math, the Chevy Spark EV comes out 1 mile per gallon E higher than the Honda Fit. I got a buddy that's got a half gas, half electric, and he actually hates the pure electronic vehicles because he says they're always on the power cord. Anywhere he goes, they're always plugged in. It drives him nuts. So with that, we're going to wrap the show up here tonight. And not too bad from a time perspective, it looks like. Let's see what we've got in the email comments. Got an email here from Jeff. Says, hey, Todd, Kindle set-top box from Amazon could be coming to a TV near you. Thanks, and Jeff, for that. Appreciate it. And I have to give kudos to Adam Curry. He's been working on what's called the Podcaster. Let's see if I can bring this up here. Can I do this? And this may not look like a lot to you guys. Let me see if I can bring this up. Let me Control plus the page. But it fits in a very small Pelican case. He's got mix minus, way to bring Skype in. This thing's pretty slick. and he's actually working on a patent on it. And I'm not surprised with what he's done there. But cost of it could be around $400. I've already told Adam I want one, so put me down for an advance order. But I'm really looking forward to this. I'll have this link up in the show notes. It was really, really slick. Got an email from Steve on that as well. So thanks, Steve, for sending that over. And I did find that at about the same time you sent me the email, so I do appreciate it. That wraps me up here for comments tonight and emails. As always, you can email me here at the show directly. And geeknews@gmail.com is the place. We've got new addresses for the New Media Show. It's todd@newmediashow.com or rob@newmediashow.com. Either one of those addresses will get information into the New Media Show. So we'll be sharing those, of course, on the show live on Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific. Don't forget to check out the Gadget Professor Robot Underpants here at Geek News Central. The Chrome Show will be remaking its debut in May. If hopefully that kicks off, and we've got some exciting stuff coming here in the coming months for you. So we appreciate it as you hang out with us and stay subscribed. Don't forget that we've still got that special deal going on with our good friends over at mmcom.com/livestream, where you can get a great deal on some live stream products and services. All you got to do is call 480-422-1645, and you talk to Mike over there. Tell him you're going to use the promo code TPM. Or again, visit mmcom.com/livestream to get a discount on live stream products and services. They're an authorized reseller of Livestream, and they've got a great deal here for you through the end of the month. And we'll work with them to have something for you in May as well. But I want to thank them. Of course, also want to thank the folks over at Citrix GoToMeeting for being sponsor here. And we want to thank the folks at GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor on the show as well. Well, if you've got comments, again, fire them away. Send them over as soon as you can. And we'll have another edition of Geek News Central this coming Monday. And we'll be back here in the studio in Hawaii for a little while, folks, and really enjoying the downtime. So until next time, everyone, take care. We'll see you. Aloha.